transferred onto disc, or to be precise, onto an aluminium disc coated with lacquer in which a cutting stylus engraves the sound vibrations. The volume is adjusted according to a reference level. The tape is wound back to the beginning of the sonata, and then the cutting stylus is turned on. The stylus cuts a few blank starter grooves to allow time for the pickup to be lowered. The grooves are closely checked through a microscope, and then at the right moment, the master tape is set in motion by a slider switch. One more check through the microscope as the grooves are being cut, and the transfer goes ahead. When the tape stops, the cutting head automatically moves inwards and cuts the run-out groove. During the whole process, a miniature vacuum cleaner removes every tiny speck of dust. Next, the record is washed with a degreasing agent, and then sprayed with a very thin layer of silver. Another quick rinse, and the disc could actually be played. But in order to create a pressing mold, the disc is placed in an electroplating bath and coated with a layer of nickel almost a millimeter thick. This one has already been coated. But now it must be separated from the silver-plated disc. The surface of the pressing mold appears embossed, but before it can be put into the record press, it must be checked once again. This is done by playing it on a turntable, as you would at home. Until recently, every recording had to be tested purely by ear. Now it can be done electronically. The slightest crackle and the turntable stops automatically. The spot is marked with a soft pencil and examined under the microscope. In most cases, faults can be eradicated with a handheld stylus. Here, the material for the final product is being prepared. The white powdered plastic is mixed to the correct proportions with purified soot to produce black discs. Then the whole lot goes into a large mixing vat where it is heated and liquefied. On the floor below, the viscous mixture is pressed through a kind of mincing machine to produce granules for the press. This machine delivers the fired cakes which, with their labels already in place, are put into the press. Finally, the discs are cut out.
In 1948, Columbia released the very first long play, or LP, vinyl record. This 20-minute recording began a major music revolution until the rise of cassettes and CDs toppled vinyl from its throne. Still, die-hard music enthusiasts held on to the vinyl tradition, and it didn't take long for it to launch a comeback tour. In 2016, 3.2 million LPs were sold, the most in 25 years. To keep up with demand, the OG LP producer, United Record Pressing, had to move to a bigger location here in Nashville, Tennessee. It's the musical encore many audiophiles have been waiting for. To make a hit record, you first need a hit song. A band or musician will record their masterpiece in a studio, then send the high-quality file to a sound engineer. In this room full of machines, an engineer will use Pro Tools to level out the music before connecting it to the cutting amps. These amps feed directly to the cutting lathe, decked out with an actual ruby chisel. As the song plays, the vibrating ruby engraves specific grooves into a lacquer disc, each cut signifying a different sound wave. Fun fact, if you yell close to the ruby, it will engrave your sound waves and your voice will be recorded. A single disc can hold up to 2,600 feet of lines, enough to span the length of 7 football fields. The first lacquer disc is the mother disc, used as a mold to create a master stamp. Each master can be used to press about 100,000 records. First, the disc gets washed, then sprayed with chloride, followed by liquid silver to fill in the grooves. Once the silver is layered on, the disc is dipped into a nickel solution for several hours. This hardens the silver into a layer that can then be peeled away, cut, trimmed, and perfected. United Record Recording has a special way of safely archiving and cataloging the masters, and they have thousands in their library. Language of music. Of course, all this work might be for nothing if the final record doesn't sound right. That's why you have Hunter, who is one of the many people in charge of production quality control. His job entails sitting in this room and listening to records all day long. QCs look for warping and listen for any ticks, pops, and weird noises that might show up during the stamping process. This takes a good ear and some serious concentration. Once they sign off, the record is ready for assembly. We shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but pretty packaging certainly helps. When it comes to records, each vinyl comes wrapped in a paper sleeve, printed with liner notes, as well as a thicker, heavier cardboard jacket. Typically, these are packed by hand, but since United Record Pressing churns out some 40,000 vinyls a day, they have special machines to help with the shrink wrap and stickering process. Then, they're boxed, wrapped, and shipped to your local record store, ready to bring music to your ears.
Hey guys, thanks for coming to Nashville to watch how vinyl records are made. Click here to subscribe to Refinery 29 and here to watch more videos.
天路。